So, let's talk about Payday Crimewar. Just a heads up, Starbreeze sent me a free copy of the game, though it's probably going to be free to play. It's a mobile game, and I'm running it on my iPhone SE, running iOS 10. And because it's iOS 10, I have a text from my mom. And because this is iOS 10, I can't screen record, so there's some screenshots and I'll find footage online, I guess. So, Payday Crimewar is a PvP mobile Payday title, which was developed by the Czech team at Badfly Games, in cooperation with Overkill Software, of course. So, the elevator pitch for Payday Crimewar is you have 4 heisters, you have 4 cops. The cops are defending safes, heisters are trying to break into the safes. It's like a 3-point domination, capture the flag. Not quite capture the flag, more like a control point type thing. The matches are about 3 minutes long, and if one team has 2 of the 3 safes obtained, so if the heisters crack open 2 of the 3, or if the police defend 2 for the time limit, then they win. And when you win, you earn a safe that can contain more equipment to give yourself an advantage over the next round, so you can earn another safe, repeat the cycle. That's the heart of the experience with Payday Crimewar, but it's a little bit bigger than that. I think the easiest place to begin is probably with the roster of characters. Dallas, Chains, Hoxton, and Wolf are your heisters. And then you have these new guys, James T. Coolidge, Bones, Guerrera, and Sanders. Those are your law enforcement. With the law enforcement, there's 2 women on the team, which I thought was kind of cool. And it really kind of tells you how far Payday, or Overkill rather, has come in character design. Unless these are Badfly's designs. My biggest complaint with the new law enforcement characters, is they're kind of bland, but it's probably because there's such a limited roster of things that each heister and each cop can say. I think if they had pager lines or safe house lines, or something like that, then we could see them as more developed characters, but because it's just, you know, a PvP title, we don't. It'd be cool to see them become proper characters in Payday 2 or Payday 3, but I guess we'll see where that goes. Another thing I need to note is that there's very tight restrictions on what you can bring to a heist. You only have Dallas and JTC unlocked from the get-go, and you need to complete matches to unlock more. They can only either have the AM car or the Platypus 70 equipped as their primary, or the Interceptor 45 or the White Streak as their secondary. This might be a restriction that they put on the beta, I have no idea. But as it currently stands, there's 2 primaries, 2 secondaries, and that's kind of for each class. Chains also has the AM car, but he also has the Moscone. And both characters only have a passive and active ability, 1 each. Dallas can self-heal and he respawns a bit quicker, and JTC can break drills quicker and temporarily become a bulldozer. Chains also has an ECM jammer, things like that. And I've got a note. JTC becoming a bulldozer really skews the early matches in favor of the cops. There's also a sentry gun that some characters have. You can have a trip mine to blow them out of there with the press of a button. And again, there's only like 5 primaries and 4 secondaries. It feels a bit familiar concerning other Payday adjacent games in recent memory. I kind of hope that we're not getting the full story here. I hope there is something they're hiding from us. I hope in the finished game there's also, like, say, maybe the KSP, maybe the AK-5 or the Clarion. Who knows? But how you unlock these new weapons is kind of where I have a problem. I stopped going, that's Payday, and start going, that's mobile. So every day when you log in, you get 2 safes to unlock right away, and they contain a few item cards each. And when you win a match, you get another safe. You can hold up to 4 safes at a time. The safes must be drilled open, and that requires time, anywhere from 3 to 8 hours for the ones that you win in matches. The cards inside the safes unlock and upgrade equipment, and it seems like you get 3 unique cards in each safe, kind of scattered about. So if the safe contains 30 cards, you might get like 14 interceptors, but like 2 suits. Having 1 card unlocks the item at level 1. You get a duplicate. You can combine those 2 to get it to level 2. 4 more cards to level 3, 6 to level 4, 10 to level 5, and so on. And all the while, the amount of cash that you're spending to upgrade increases. So it starts maybe 5, then 10, then 20, then 50, and so on. I mean, there's not any real problem here. I mean, you could just win 4 matches, drill your 4 safes, come back later, maybe the next day, and open them up, right? You can only drill one thing at a time. But if you absolutely need to expedite the process of opening a safe, you can spend your gold, which is your premium currency, to open it right away. You can also buy duplicate cards, 3 different duplicate stacks every day in the shop. You can buy special safes that contain rare equipment. You can buy gold with real money. And while upgrades are kind of menial, they can add up fast. For instance, when you level up the AM card from level 1 to level 2, you increase the bullet damage by 1. And while that doesn't sound like a problem, when you've got so many stats, and you're always constantly squaring off against somebody who's got, say, 3 more damage on his AM card, he's got 12 more health, his suit's got 6 more armor, his bulldozer's got more armor than your self-heal can regenerate health for you, it adds up very quickly, and it's very easy. And what I'm seeing happen is newer, inexperienced players are getting constantly beaten down by more skilled players who aren't necessarily better at the game, but have been playing it longer, or when the game launches will have spent the money to be ahead. And that shouldn't be a problem in ranked modes where you have some form of MMR to keep matches straight, but quick play doesn't have MMR. I've been at a power rating of 20, and I've been matched up with people who just started the game, and you start the game at a power level of 6. I've also been matched up with somebody who was playing as, I think it was Bones, and they had a power level of 40. You're required to win 10 quick play matches to even begin the ranked modes. So I could see that becoming a very tedious grind for newer players later on down the road, and this really worries me about Payday. Crimewar is what this game's going to look like 6 months from now. If somebody who just downloads the game, say, in March, and they're matched up against people who have a power level in the triple digits in the quick play, I mean, that's it. And it seems like weapons can be upgraded infinitely, so... I mean, that combined with the fact that everything's the luck of the draw, this is a really unforgiving game for new, inexperienced players. And I could see this kind of pushing younger players who just download the game out. I could see this pretty much almost like a typhoon, or like a hurricane. There was an unfortunate hurricane. This is a really bad example. Tornado. So like a tornado, most of your players can kind of stick to the surface and get blown away. Anybody who can kind of crack those first 10 matches, I could see getting kind of stuck in that middle section and stay there for a while. But, I don't know, getting matched up against people who are playing a higher level Dallas with rarer equipment like the White Streak or Chains with the Moscone, that's a little unfair in my opinion. Moving on from unfair to questionable, I have a problem with the map design. So, the quick play as it currently stands has been Bank Heist. And there are 3 safes scattered throughout Bank Heist, and you defend them or you crack them open if you're playing as a clown. But sometimes they're in places that make sense. Manager's office, the teller's room. But sometimes they're just out in the open, like on a countertop, or there's one in the vault, and it just seems weird. It seems tacked on, and it seems unfinished. In my personal opinion, I feel like Payday Crimewar should be a little more asymmetrical than that. And what I'm thinking is you have a progress bar at the top. Like this is walk right into the bank. This is escape. And the cops start all the way here, and the heisters are pushing them back. And you make each step worth so many points. So for instance, for the bank heist, for instance, the heisters are drilling open the vault. They're getting inside. They are bagging up 4 bags of money, 6 bags of money. They are bringing them up to the roof. They are building a like the sky cage, like in Go Bank. They're putting their money in. They're raising the balloon. Alex comes by, takes it after 2 minutes, and then they head to the van. And what the cops would be doing is you prevent them from getting into the bank. If that doesn't work, you prevent them from drilling, so you break the drill constantly. Once they've drilled that open and they've taken them, you prevent them from taking the money. If they bag the money and they assemble the sky cage, then you take the money out of the sky cage and scatter it around. And at the end of it, then you tally up points. Like if they drill into the vault, that's 200 points. Every bag of money that they pick up, that's 100. Every bag that gets taken out through the cage is 300. And every bag that escapes on foot's worth like 100. And you tally up the points like that, that would be a lot more in line with the gameplay of Payday 2, in my opinion. But I think the big problem is the matches would be a bit long for a mobile game. But the ranked mode's like 7 minutes long anyways, so, I mean, like, whatever, right? I mean, you can condense the missions. Like Golden Grid Casino, maybe you don't need the whole BFD song and dance, but instead, you're going around finding the codes to the briefcases, you're going into the manager's office, you're hacking, like you go to the security office, you hack a computer, it sends a request to the manager's office, you go to the manager's office, you hack the computer, then you get the okay, and then you go into the vault of Golden Grid Casino, pack up the money, bring it up the dumbwaiter, you load it on like a dinner cart, and then you carry it out to the van. And all the while, the police are trying to stop that. I think there is a way to do the Payday experience in a condensed version, and my big reason for wanting to change the gameplay loop of Crimewar is because as it currently stands, if you're playing a cop and the heisters crack open 2 safes, that's it. I mean, in the ranked mode, it's a little different because you play a second round, but in quick play, once they've cracked open the 2, why bother? You're never going to be able to pick up from that. Because the bigger safe is worth 300 and each one's worth 200. If they crack open the 2 smaller safes, that's 400 points compared to your 300. Each kill's worth 5 points. You would need 20 more kills than the other team to break even. And that's just not fair sometimes. Just having safes scattered around feels cumbersome and frustrating. It's a bandage on a bullet wound. Payday Crimewar is not a good Payday game. It's a mobile game, and most of those are just kind of meant to scrape the surface for money. People who play mobile games these days are kind of aware of that, they're used to it, and I think it'll do fine on mobile, in my opinion. My concern, though, is how much lastability the game will have, how much revenue it will actually pull. And my worry with that is as follows. Super Mario Run was downloaded over 100 million times, but the number of people who actually spent money on the game ranges between 3% and at most 10%. So it is 10%. 10 million people bought Super Mario Run. Super Mario Odyssey has still sold more copies and at 6 times the price. And that's kind of the issue with profiting from a mobile game. Your margins are very, very thin. And a ton of downloads don't necessarily mean a ton of money. And I think Starbreeze, especially with the fact that they're a company that's had some questionable financial decisions, not gonna lie, it's a bit worrying. Raid World War II was supposed to be this big successor to Payday the Heist. It was given a budget of $8 million from Starbreeze, and according to a handful of reports, it's sold maybe 50,000 copies between PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. This led to Starbreeze having to push out more stock to try to get more investors in to kind of recoup some money. This led to Payday 3 getting expedited, and this puts us in a peculiar position today. Payday Crimewar is a milquetoast game that will have fans, but it's going to leave most unimpressed. I don't think the overlap between Payday 2 fans and the overlap of Payday Crimewar fans will be all that thick. Overkill's The Walking Dead is kind of a game in a similar position. So many people are turned away from the TV series now that it's like 9 seasons in. And a lot of that's the fact that the show doesn't want to end until the graphic novel ends. The graphic novel doesn't want to end until the show ends. Telltale's The Walking Dead is one of the highest rated games of all time. And it's ending because of a lack of interest. Because they've been trying to keep up with the show, keep up with the book, and they can't do it. Because people are getting turned away from The Walking Dead because it's been on for so long. It's kind of alarming how Overkill is doing, I'll admit. The worst case scenario is that both games fail to meet their marks, and that causes Payday 3 to get expedited further. It's hurried out the door in an unfinished, broken state, and Overkill collapses, bringing Starbreeze with it, which could effectively kill System Shock 3, and Psychonauts 2. I'm not a fan of mobile games, so it's hard for me to forecast how well this is going to do in the mobile scene. But at the same time, it's hard not to feel like it's got an uphill battle, and it's making one of the most worrying times for Overkill Software and its publisher. My final verdict is that Payday Crimewar isn't exactly Payday 2 on mobile. It exists, and its success paired with how Overkill's The Walking Dead will do will dictate how well of a time Starbreeze is going to have in the next coming years. It's going to be rough. They've come back from tumultuous losses before. Payday 2 is apparently the first time the company ever posted a profit. If Wikipedia is supposed to be believed, there is no link to that, but I could honestly see that. But the question becomes, how much worse of a situation can Starbreeze be in? And I don't have an answer for that. I don't think they have an answer for that. And I think the only thing we can hope is I think we can wish them the best. Starbreeze, I have to commend you. You have an uphill battle ahead of you. Overkill's The Walking Dead is a few years late, and people are falling off the show, falling off the graphic novel, falling off of the Telltale game. And Payday Crimewar is a bit of a third wheel, a sort of weird halfway point between a mobile shooter like Fortnite or the Respawnables and Payday 2, and the end result just clashes a little too strongly in my opinion. How well Crimewar and how well The Walking Dead do are going to dictate a lot for the future of Starbreeze, and I want them to do well. And I want them to do well because that means that they have the assets to make Payday 3 the best game it can be. And I think we all want to see Payday 3 be the best game it can be. If Payday 3 looks anything like Overkill's The Walking Dead in terms of visual fidelity, I am more than excited for the future of the series. But if Crimewar doesn't do well, and Overkill's The Walking Dead doesn't do well, and then Payday 3 doesn't do well, because it didn't have the support from those other two titles, not only is Overkill and Starbreeze out of a job, but in a way, so am I. Well, that was a weird introspective look into a mobile game. To play it. When it comes out for full, play it. Play it for an hour, and then make the decision on your own. I don't play mobile games anymore. It's fun, it's slippery, it's because it's a touchscreen. I'm sure people who play a lot of mobile games will like it, but the question becomes, what does that mean for money, and what does that mean for Starbreeze? I guess we will have to find out when it officially launches sometime this fall. Maybe this winter. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you around.